This is the process shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck at a societal crossroads, and I've seen Valley Girl, a romantic comedy from 1983 directed by Martha Coolidge. It details the trials and tribulations of two young teenage lovers. Julie, a Valley Girl with a healthy social circle and an arrogant ex-boyfriend, and Randy, a new wave punk from the other side of the tracks with an attitude to match. The two hit it off at a party, sneaking out and enjoying the night together, falling in love and dating over the course of a montage set to a hit 80s song. However, Julie's friends are disappointed by her choice of a new boyfriend and pressure her to dump him, leaving Julie confused about her feelings and loyalties, and leaving Randy to take a few drastic steps to win her heart once and for all. Nothing too drastic, though. It is a comedy, after all. The film as a whole is pretty lighthearted, really. It's one part Romeo and Juliet, another part social satire, and a third part, it's still mostly the Romeo and Juliet story, actually. The movie keeps things pretty simple and focused for the most part, making for something pretty light on actual ongoing events, but sticking pretty soundly to the characters and making them people worth following. There actually isn't much else to the characters, defined more by their roles within the story and within their society, the latter of which really seems to be what the bulk of the film's filler material likes to explore. Whenever characters aren't engaged in social politics, they're usually talking about the usual teenage topics, like fashion trends and human anatomy, or other times they're doing drugs like all the other cool kids. In one particularly awkward subplot, a teenage boy is romantically pursued by an older woman, which may or may not fly by today's standards, depending on where you live. The satire does make for some nice flavoring and expansion of the world, showing that despite the pretenses that the Valley clique have for the punks, they aren't very far apart themselves. Unfortunately, we don't get to see much of the punk lifestyle outside of Randy's free-spirited nature and a single dive bar. We don't see much of Randy at all, come to think of it. There's more focus on Julie's experience over the course of the story, with Randy's role only becoming stronger near the end. It does give more time for the social commentary, I suppose, but it also makes it seem like the writers didn't want to do much research. Or they did, but they got wasted and forgot to actually take notes. I don't know. Anyways, on the technical side of things, it's all pretty standard, especially for an 80s movie. Well, for the general idea of what an 80s movie is, I guess. Whenever a shot goes wide, it's to show off some location in all its glory before cutting back into something that's more likely to be a set piece. After establishing that, shots are pretty flat and practical and never really indicative of a personal style, though there are at least a handful of shots where the filmmakers do aim for a visual edge. Editing is also a bit minimalist, sticking to practical back and forth cuts in most dialogue scenes, and otherwise keeping everything paced out pretty slowly. Even the montage I mentioned before takes its time, despite the high energy of the music being played. Speaking of which, the soundtrack seems to have been where the filmmakers spent all their time putting things together, since it feels as if the movie can't go even a few minutes without including a clip from some fresh hit radio single or something. Even if it's just a playlist of tunes that don't really mesh into the story very well, it's still a pretty good mix. It really just adds more to the list of differences between Randy and Julie's lifestyles, which overall seems to be the most basic idea that the movie wants to get across, Everything else is more or less just for fun, but at least it's a solid amount of fun. Valley Girl, Martha Coolidge, 1983. 4 stars. I'd say that it's worth seeing. Either you'll have fun with these social double standards, or you'll enjoy the basic love story. I hope, at least. That's it for me. If you like this review, leave a like. If you have something to add, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Oh, wow, I just got it. Randy and Julie, Romeo and Juliet. How did I miss that? Oh, right, I'm stupid. That's how.